Oh, now it was okay. So I might as well get this live over with too. Okay, so let's talk about paganism really quick. I see so many times whenever I'm celebrating holidays that people tell me that's a pagan holiday, and I'm always like, I'm a fucking pagan. So I just want to talk about that real quick. Paganism is not evil. Paganism is not evil. Paganism literally, and pagans just means that you believe things that predate colonization and that predates slavery, not slavery, that predates Christianity, right? Christianity is only 2,000 years old. Africa itself has been around for hundreds of thousands of years. So if Christianity is only 2,000 years old, that means there were plenty, maybe millions of beliefs before Christianity was ever developed. Okay, so for that's what pagan is. Pagan means anything that predates Christianity is pagan. Islam isn't pagan because Islam came after Christianity. Very simple. Anything before colonization, anything before Christianity is being pagan. So if you believe anything your ancestors believe, you are practicing paganism. And it's a big umbrella of things. Pagans aren't like Christians or Muslims where, you know, there's a base there. If you are a Christian, you believe in Jesus Christ. Depending on what your denomination is depending on what you believe about Jesus Christ, right? You can be a Christian and be a Jehovah's Witness, be Methodist, be Baptist, but they all believe in Jesus Christ. At the same time, I believe that the Muslims believe in their prophet Muhammad, who actually married and was sleeping. Well, he married a 6-year-old, but didn't fuck her till she was 9 or something. But whatever. That's not how paganism is. Okay, it's all these beliefs that happened before Christianity and happened before colonization. So when you're researching beliefs of your ancestors from Africa or your ancestors from the Native Americas or your ancestors from the Americas or even your ancestors from Europe, any of their practices before Christianity is considered paganism. There are a lot of evil Christians and Muslims. There are a lot of evil, extremely religious people. So for me, I don't care what your religion is. You can be an atheist. I'm 100% sure there's some atheists out here that won't hurt a fly. And there's some extreme Christians out here that will kill for Christianity. Even though there's nothing in the Bible that says do that shit. And then there's extreme Muslims out here that will kill for Allah, you know, but that's in their fucking book. Okay. I'll do a whole nother video on that because I think American Muslims be trying to disassociate from the principles of the martial law or whatever the fucking law is called. And at the end of the day, I don't believe you can separate the shit. The prophet to the Muslims was a pedophile. Like this Muhammad person, he marries a 6-year-old and he consummates the marriage when she's 9. That's what's in their fucking Quran, bro. In their book, they can marry children. The Somali men, the Muslims in Somalia, they were fucking breaking down crying when they couldn't marry children, girls no more. And I understand that some people are going to be like, okay, but I don't practice that. It's one thing. I'm not Christian. I just told y'all I'm pagan, right? But I love learning about different religions. I truly feel like Islam is evil from what I've learned. I feel like the way they deal with their women is evil. I feel like your husband being able to go outside the marriage and date without your knowledge and marry another woman without your knowledge is evil. I feel like a book that says you can marry a girl before puberty, which is what the Quran says. I mean, that's what it says. Okay, you can marry a girl before puberty is evil. And I think the practice of the shit is evil. And I think, period. Okay. I feel like Christianity has been used to enslave people, so that makes it evil. I never got jiggy with the Christians talking about go to Jesus to get to God. I never understood that. That's like me going to my sister to go to my mother. Why would I go through Jesus to get to God and Jesus is my brother? God is my father. I could go to God. So I never really understood the Christians either. But that Islamic shit, that martial law that the Islamic communities is under. I don't know if y'all know this, but countries right now are in civil wars with Muslims because they let too many Muslims in their country. Okay, the UK is in a civil war right now because they let too many Muslims in. London is in a civil war right now because they let too many Muslims in. Japan, point blank, y'all, Japan don't play. Japan don't play. Japan said, we don't do immigrants. Japan said, y'all could come over here, y'all could work over here, y'all could go to college over here, y'all can marry anybody y'all want over here, but we will not give you citizenship. You can have visas, you can live over here, you can pay into us, you can educate yourself, come to our schools, it's welcome, but you cannot have citizenship. And one of the big reasons why is Japan said Islam. That's what Japan said. Because in the book teachings, one of the book teachings is if you want to leave the religion, the punishment for leaving the religion is death. Jesus Christ ain't never finna ask you to kill yourself for him, G. And he's not finna promise you 21 fucking virgins. The whole religion, again, I'm not Christian. I can go all day and poke holes in Christianity, but my holes in Christianity, this is what I feel like about the Bible. I feel like the Bible is a good moral book. It's a good moral book. Like, if you follow the morals of the Bible, you probably would have a decent life. The shit like, you know, don't commit adultery, don't molest kids is in the Bible. The only problem I really have with the Bible is I can't prove that it's a holy book and obey your earthly masters. But just like they said, spare the rod, spoil the child, in the Bible it says, do not bring your children to anger. These are things we could live by. But as I started to study the Quran, even when there's good things in the shit, even the good things is still overruled because y'all are marrying children. Muslims marry children. It is in their religion to fuck. Incest is so deep innate in the Islam, because the other thing is Islam is not just a religion. Islam is a way of life. Islam has laws. Islam has laws on the correct way to conduct yourself on this earth as a human. You know what I'm saying? Like, Islam is deeper than Christianity. And in Islam, they stone their women. They beat their women. People gonna be on here like, okay, but that's not in America. Because you know why it's not in America? Because the practice of Islam itself is against our Constitution. That's why the shit doesn't go on here yet. But if y'all been paying attention, you could look up Texas. Anything I ever tell you, you could go look up. Texas right now, the governor of Texas had to ban all this like Islamic shit because they were turning it into Islamic State, you know, from practicing the religion in public schools. Little girls, American little girls wearing hijabs, covering themselves from head to toe in Texas heat. Oh, baby, hell no. Oh, baby, hell no. That is the only religion I do not want in America. Only because Islam is very intolerant of other religions. Again, I'm a pagan. So I don't give a fuck if a motherfucker is Buddhist, Christian, whatever. Being a pagan, we don't care. You know, being a pagan, I am more aligned with nature and nature gods. So let me jump into it. Again, pagan is a big ass umbrella. It just means you believe in beliefs before Christianity. When I got into my journey, I was like, okay, so what was the first civilization ever, right? That's what I want to know. What was the first civilization to ever exist in humans? And it comes up Sumer, the Sumerians. The Sumerians are from Africa, very close to the Middle East. But I wish I had a map, because even when they say Middle East, y'all, please understand Middle East just means Africa. Middle East is between Asia and Africa, and most of the people from the Middle East are Africans. It means Africa. They disassociated from Africa because they don't want the greatness of the Middle East to be associated with it, you know. But again, that leads to like why the Somalis thought they were Arab and not black. Anyway, but every other religion is very tolerant. Even Christians are very tolerant of every other religions. But Islam is not tolerant of other religions, okay? And the freeness that we see with the Muslims in America is because they kind of have to be to assimilate. I'm gonna do a whole video on that, and I'm also do a video on immigrants. But they kind of had to assimilate. But that is not the base of Islam. There are whole Islamic countries out here, y'all, and the basis, like some things that just don't change, is the way they treat women. It's in their book that women are second-class citizens. I went on this read because people will look at an atheist and think an atheist is evil, but talk to a Muslim knowing their belief. How can you be a good person if your religion makes you think that women are half of the worth of men? How could you ever be a good person, man or woman? Because a lot of times these women in these religions perpetuate the crazy shit. I be on YouTube listening to the videos and the true stories and shit. And people who escaped Islam, because that's what you got to type in, I escaped Islam, shit like that, or my Muslim family and shit like that. And they have stoned these girls from running away from marriages. They make girls marry their first cousin. That is a very, very common practice in Islam. Marrying your first cousin, marrying incest, pedophilia, oppression of women. No. Again, so don't then think that atheists, pagans, these are the evil people, because you can have evil Christians, you can have evil Muslims, you can have evil Buddhists, and you can have good people in them. I kind of don't think you can have good people in Islam, because as a good person, how do you sit there, know that's what you are worshiping, and still do it? How can you be a good person and you know your prophet married a 6-year-old, bro, and consummated the marriage at 9? I'm coming at the fucking religion, because what the fuck? What? And people be on my shit like, why are you celebrating a pagan holiday? Because I'm pagan. Why did Christians adopt pagan holidays is the question. Why did Christians adopt pagan holidays? Yes, Christmas is a pagan holiday. Christmas origins come from Europe and the Americas. The Native Americans, before we got here, they had their own form of Christmas. It was called the winter solstice, and it went on from December 20th to December 23rd. It was just like giving thanks that they made it halfway through the winter. Europe has something close to that, but it was the same dates in Europe and in the Americas between December 20th and December 23rd. These countries are across the world from each other, and they both know they have to celebrate and give thanks at this time. We really might be in a magical spiritual world, and we don't know. We really might have to celebrate these holidays to keep the world spinning, and we don't know, because we ain't got the knowledge no more. But paganism, Christmas is a pagan holiday. Before Christians adopted it and called it Jesus' birthday, even though if you do your own research, you would know that couldn't have been Jesus' birthday, here nor there. But Christians adopted it, and I believe they did that because they wanted to convert the people that was already here. So it was easier for them to convert them if they kind of align holidays with them. But yes, Christmas does not come from Christianity. Christmas is a pagan holiday that was celebrated before white people ever colonized the Americas. The Native Americans was already getting together to celebrate from December 20th to December 23rd. They cooked food, they gathered everybody in the village, they sung, they danced, and they gave each other gifts. It was a celebration for making it halfway through the winter. These are times where people die. They die of cold, starvation. So Christmas, back then it was called, in Europe they called it Yule. Yule. In Europe they called it Yule, and in the Americans they called it winter solstice. The winter solstice, Yule, both of this, Christians took this pagan holiday, a holiday that was meant to celebrate being alive, a holiday that was meant to give gifts to your loved ones because y'all made it halfway through the winter and you didn't die. If Christians start to act, because honestly, ask yourself, why would you give each other gifts on Christmas and that's just the day your Savior was born? it would make more sense that a lot of service work would be done on Christmas if it was just based off Christianity, right? Jesus was a servant. Jesus was a service worker. He was going to heal the people. He was going to turn water into wine. He was showing up for the people, you know? So it would make more sense that Christians gave back to the less fortunate than gave gifts to each other. That's like the government and religion got together to make us consumers. Because I understand why the Native Americans and the Europeans was doing it. They gave gifts to each other, not because Jesus was born, but because, thank God, we made it through the winter. So many people don't make it through the winter. So I'm going to give you this because I'm thankful you're still here. That makes more sense than we're giving gifts because Jesus was born. Yes, it's a pagan holiday. With that being said, yes, I'm going to give gifts on Christmas. And the whole, no, it's not even Christmas. Yes, I'm going to celebrate the winter solstice because yes, I'm thankful the sun is still coming up. I'm thankful the moon still come out. I'm thankful that the world still rotates. I'm thankful that winter came. I'm thankful that I have enough food to keep these kids alive. I'm thankful that I'm sitting in a warm ass room right now. I'm going to celebrate that. So when people tell me stupid shit like y'all celebrating pagan holidays, like, but I know what the holiday means. I know what I'm celebrating. Yes, it's a pagan holiday, but Yule, winter solstice, Christmas is a time to give thanks that your family made it through the winter, well, made it halfway through the winter. Then you have Easter, which comes from the goddess Ayana. They're going to tell you that it comes from Ishtar, but Ishtar comes before Jesus and after the goddess Ayana. Jesus and Ishtar, both of them are based off of the goddess Ayana. Google it. Do your own research. Read a book. Let me tell y'all how to find the best books. Go into bookstores. Go down the stairs because bookstores usually always have like a really cozy basement. And this, I ain't talking about Books A Million or Barnes and Noble. I'm talking about a real bookstore. You got to go in a real bookstore, go to the basement and ask somebody that worked there, because whoever works there really loves books, and ask them to show you the Sumerian tablets, to give you the information on Ishtar, goddess Ayana, and even Christianity. Like, God get all up in that research. But anyway, before there's Easter, before there's Jesus, there's Ishtar, but before Ishtar, there is the goddess Ayana. The goddess Ayana is the original resurrection story. The story of resurrection comes from the goddess Ayana. I think it's very funny that Christians adopted this story and turned it into a man's story, because the oldest story of resurrection is a woman. It's a goddess. It's the goddess Ayana. Google it. You can just Google, is Jesus Christ resurrection story based off of the story of goddess Ayana? Because it is. Anyway, Easter, Ishtar, goddess Ayana, that is the spring, not solstice, that's the spring equinox. And we celebrate spring equinox, for pretty much the same reason as we celebrated the winter solstice. We celebrate, pagans like me, celebrate the spring equinox because we are welcoming a new year. We're telling the earth thank you for supplying food through the winter. We are welcoming the rebirth of the earth because Easter, springtime, I will have to look up the exact dates for y'all. Easter, springtime, because the exact dates are in March. They're never in April and they never change. I also think it's very funny that when Christians adopted these holidays, they changed the dates. And I think that's because magic is aligned with the planets, right? So if you get your most magic for winter solstice between December 20th and December 23rd, making Christmas on December 25th, you'll never tap into that magic. Spring equinox, it's always in March. So whenever they move Easter around, you never really get to tap into that magic. What is this? Incognito? I don't know. Incognito window. When you never get to tap into the magic of Easter. I don't want to restart this. it restarted. Anyway, so you never really get to tap into the magic of Easter because they move the dates around. But Easter is the reason. I'm gonna stop calling it Easter. I'm gonna call it spring equinox, because that is the pagan holiday that Easter is based off of. But the pagans okay, the pagans celebrate the spring equinox because that's when the earth is pregnant with new life. Our new year is springtime. It doesn't make sense for the new year to be in January. I'm going to support it. I'm going to celebrate it. I start my American calendar on January 1st. I get it or whatever. But at the same time, that's not an actual start of a new year. January 1st, you are very much still in the last year. January 1st, we are still very much in the same winter that we started in 2025. So for me, no, it makes no sense that in the middle of the winter, that would be New Year's. And so many things, y'all. We are spiritual beings. We are higher beings. What aligns with you? You already know when the shit's bogus. You already know when the shit don't make sense. You already know when they align and shit that it's just not clicking for you. New Year's is springtime. Spring is New Year. That's the new year. Okay, so let me look this up so I could get y'all the dates for the spring. How y'all feeling today? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling tonight? It's nighttime. It's nighttime. I ain't even have to go through all this. Because I know it's like right here. How y'all feeling tonight? What are you? Are you Christian? Are you pagan? Any of that? Are you Muslim? What are you? So I'm gonna read off the list. I know what I celebrate. I just want to be very blunt about it though. So Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving. Those are the 4 pagan holidays. Those are the 4 holidays based off pagan holidays. Valentine's Day is not a pagan holiday. Valentine's Day is not based off nothing we believe, like no, because Valentine's Day came with colonization. So it's not a holiday that predated Christianity or colonization. It came after. It's really just an American holiday, actually. But winter solstice, I'm gonna give y'all the facts. It's December 20th to December 23rd. I said that 1,000 times. I know that because it's my baby birthday. But it's the rebirth of the sun. It's hope returning. It's like coming back from the abyss. The Ebolic, which is February 1st and 2nd, is when the thaw begins. It's when the earth is pregnant with spring. So that's February 1st and 2nd. Not February 14th, but those are days that we celebrate love. We know spring is coming, so we're just happy that the earth is now pregnant with the new life it's finna produce for us. That the meaning is purification, new beginnings, in a fire. Then Easter, spring equinox. The spring equinox is when the earth gives birth to the new year. That's when birds come out, the bees be buzzing, the flowers come back out, animals awake from their hibernation. And humans in the old times before colonization, that's when they could kind of breathe. That's when a lot of load came out because we made it to spring. So now we know that we're going to have a new harvest. We're alive. Thank God. In a lot of ways, they celebrated that, again, was giving their children gifts. They were so thankful that their children made it through the winter that they gave their children's gifts. The whole Easter, the holiday is a pagan holiday because it existed before Christians came and said that Jesus was resurrected on Easter. Easter already was a holiday that the natives already was celebrating because thank God we made it through the winter. They stole all the holidays that were already in existence and formed them around Christianity. I think it was like an easier way to recruit people into Christianity. Like, oh, okay, y'all got winter solstice, we got Christmas. Yeah, it's the same. Oh, y'all do spring equinox. Okay, we just call it Easter. It's the same, but it's not the same. A lot of the pagan religions, not religion, but a lot of the pagan rituals, because I'm calling them pagan holidays, but they're not pagan holidays, they're pagan rituals. Winter solstice is a ritual. Okay, spring equinox is a ritual. The Beltane force is a ritual. Summer solstice is a ritual. I'm reading this right now, so I'm trying to see if anything on here that I don't feel like is a ritual. Even down to Halloween, October 31st. Okay, let's go down into it. What is Day of the Dead? Day of the Dead is November 1st. For pagans, from October 31st to November 1st is when the veil is thinned between the worlds of life and death. That's reflected so much. But again, Christians came in and took these holidays. I don't know. By me being pagan, I'm going to celebrate pre-Christian holidays. I'm going to celebrate pre-colonialization, because at the end of the day, all of these rituals was always in place for thousands of years for a reason. And a lot of the old holidays or rituals are based off of family, being thankful you're fucking alive, and giving each other things. That was a necessity. Because also at the same time, the gift giving that's going on during winter solstice is probably keeping them alive. You're getting new blankets, new food, y'all trading, y'all giving gifts. It's literally keeping the village alive. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns. Because y'all literally be like, yeah, y'all celebrating that pagan holiday. And I'm just always like, I went to your page, baby. You're a pagan. You're a pagan. You're a pagan. If you're not Christian, you're fucking pagan. It be funny to me. Motherfuckers be like, y'all dealing with these made up holidays. These are not made up holidays. These are rituals that our ancestors was already practicing before colonizers came over here and changed the name. These are not made up holidays. The made up holidays is shit like I told y'all. Valentine's Day, President's Day. Those are made up holidays. But Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, those Halloween, those existed before we was colonized. Those existed before Christianity was pushed up on the Americas. Those, and their rituals, they're not even holidays. I guess that's what it is. America made up a holiday, like we made up what holiday is. Because these things was rituals that groups of people got together and did to make sure that they had prosperity throughout the rest of the year. Hey. Here's a good book on magic that I suggest. Spells and Charms. Really good book on magic, especially if you're starting at the beginning. Really good book. I suggest looking up. I suggest you Googling what is paganism? What is a pagan? Is pagans evil? Because just spewing out ignorance, that's what it is. More of us in this day and age is pagan than ever before. If you are superstitious, you're pagan, because superstition predates Christianity. If you do rituals, you are pagan. If you work with crystals, you are pagan. These things are not anti-Christian. They're before Christians. Christianity is only 2,000 years old. Do you know how much existed in the world before Christianity? Africans, Asians, and natives, like the people native to America, indigenous people. Let's just say indigenous people. People indigenous to Africa, people indigenous to Asia, people indigenous to America. They didn't believe in God. You don't never hear their ancient terms talk about God. They talk about their ancestors. You see different Asian communities create whole shrines to their ancestors. You hear Africans talk about their ancestors. It wasn't until Europeans brought a God in the mix. Because again, Christianity predates Islam. So even Islam having a God like Allah still comes from Christianity. And this is the other thing. Christianity in itself comes from Africa. The version of Christianity we got came from Europe, because after Europe and Africa intertwined for some years, and Europe got the story of Isis and Osiris, they created the Bible. But even though it originated in Africa, we're getting a European cleansed lens. That's why their savior is even blind, hair, blue eyes. Even though in the book, his description could never have been. I mean, I guess it could have been, because my Uncle Tony, he has hair like wool, but he got blue eyes. His hair is like sandy brown, so, you know. But saying that to say, if you practice any type of rituals, any of these New Year Eve rituals, those predate Christianity, baby, that's paganism. You're a pagan. If you talk to your ancestors, you are a pagan. You are practicing an act that existed before Christianity. Christianity is only 2,000 years old, and Christianity originated in Africa. But the original scripts are in Rome, Italy, which used to be Rome. The original scripts are in the Vatican. We will never, ever see them. What we got is a King James version. But King James himself was a king that was incestuous and a pedophile, because he was fucking on his younger nephews and cousins. So not only was he a pedophile, he was a homosexual. Not only was he a homosexual, but he's incestuous. That's King James. And the Bible says the King James Version. Boom. 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 We had our own beliefs before then. Nobody is ever going to convince me talking to my ancestors is evil. Nobody can ever convince me that talking to my ancestors is evil. So I'm going to be pagan forever. And I'm going to celebrate. What's the next one that comes up? So the next one that comes up is on February 1st through 2nd. And that is celebrating the earth being pregnant with the new life of spring. You know, February 1st and 2nd is a pagan ritual, and the ritual is us celebrating the earth is pregnant with spring. You can't tell me that's evil. You cannot tell me celebrating the earth, finna giving us new life, being thankful to the earth, being thankful to the sun, being thankful to the sky, being thankful to the air. You cannot ever convince me that's evil, bro. Because it's simply not. It's simply not. Like, it's not. They're never going to convince me that, and this is the other thing. There is no record of no babies being killed. Pagans ain't never killed no babies. Pagans don't do blood sacrifices. There are religions that predate Christianity, and those aren't even religions either. Those are like beliefs. And there's rituals that predate Christianity that involve human sacrifice and things of that nature, but it's not directly connected to paganism as a whole. If you're not a Christian and it predates Christianity, yes, it's pagan. However, these were not the stable rituals. I hear people say all the time, like, you know, celebrating Easter, and did you know that they were sacrificing children on Easter, babies and shit? That's not true. Y'all don't have no factual record of that. Y'all are literally just saying that. You're just saying that. You know how I can say Muhammad married a 6-year-old and then slept with her at 9? They put that shit in their Quran. There's proof of that. There's never been no proof of any pagan rituals other than maybe the Aztecs, maybe, but that's blood sacrifice. That shit still get deeper. That shit still get deeper than just saying, oh, on Easter, y'all celebrating Easter and they used to do blood sacrifices of babies. That's not true. There's no history recollection of that. A group of people might have got together that did that, but that's not what the ritual was for Easter. The ritual was for Easter of being, again, giving thanks to the land, being thankful that you even got through the winter time, and celebrating a lot of, it has a lot to do with magic. Fairies, reproducing the world, planting seeds so you can have a good harvest. That's all of the spring equinox. There's never been any real history. I mean, I think one day a Christian said that, and then after that people just ran with it and didn't do any research on it at all. But that's been my TED Talk, you know. I will leave it with this: practicing hoodoo, practicing voodoo, being superstitious. All of these things is paganism. Talking to your ancestors, working with feminine divines, all that predates Christianity. People was working with the divine feminine before Christianity ever came about. People were worshiping and doing rituals for rain dances and things before Christianity ever came about. So it's all considered paganism. As a person who is a pagan, I celebrate pagan rituals because I'm so thankful to this earth. I'm so thankful to Father Time. I'm so thankful to Mother Nature for letting me live this beautiful life. I have to give back. I have to celebrate. I have to pour into my kids. And I truly enjoy, a sad note from being pagan, I truly enjoy how America holidays run, because in all honesty, day to day, I don't think about every one of my family members. I can't check on everybody day to day. I can't know. But when it comes to their birthday and one of my pagan rituals, we here, baby, because I'm cooking. I'm cooking on Thanksgiving because we're going to sit down and we're going to really, really give thanks to the earth for putting this food on our plate, baby. That's what Thanksgiving was before Christianity, before colonization. Thanksgiving was the harvest festivals. Every fall, the natives got together and threw harvest festivals to get ready for the winter. At these harvest festivals, they traded food, plants, meats, seeds, dried food. They traded blankets, coats, whatever they're going to need for the winter. They had a fall festival, and that was Thanksgiving. It existed way before they came over here and colonized us. So I'm going to practice it way after the Christians and colonization is done, you know. Next videos I do want to talk about is immigration. Definitely, I want to do a deeper dive into the Islam religion. Definitely. So stay tuned for that. Sunday, I'm doing a private video with women only. It's $10 to get on that video. You'll be able to talk because it'd be like a Zoom call. So definitely sign up for that if you want to be a part of that. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for our videos tomorrow. Thank y'all. Love y'all so much. Thank you for coming to spend some time with me. Talk to me, and